Hi, welcome to In the Arena. I'm your host, Mindy McAlindon. Joining me today is a gentleman named Jonathan Reddick. He is a family friend. He works for a local company called Walmart, and he is currently in Israel. And one of the reasons that I want to speak to him is because he was there visiting some family, had some family events to attend, and got stuck in Israel, and is now trying to get back out. So let's bring Jonathan in. Jonathan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
It is good to see you. So
Likewise.
Why don't we start by just telling our viewers why you went to Israel, when you went, and why you went.
So we went about 3-4 weeks ago for my daughter's wedding. She got married here, and she was married on Sunday, June 8th, and it was beautiful. And then, if you know anything about the Jewish religion, we have what we call the Sheva Brachot, which is 7 blessings over 7 days. And we were planning to take, to attend some of those, and then come home on, the Monday, so like 8 days later. Of course, fate had other plans for us. So with the war starting, all of the different airlines stopped flying, and basically the Ben Gurion airport is closed, and there is very, very few options for leaving Israel at this point, and traveling back to the States.
That's got to be kind of disconcerting, right? You've got business back here, you've got family and friends here. So tell me just real quick, and then we'll jump into what's going on the ground there. But real quick, what is the process if someone got stuck overseas and needed to get home? What's kind of that process that you're going through to make that happen?
So the first thing you do is you're going to contact the embassy, and they've got a program, the STEP program, which is basically their fundamental. They know that you're here. They've got your passport number. They'll reach out to you, and they'll keep you appraised of things. And then you can request for assistance to leave, and there are different levels of assistance that you can apply for. So applied for that, and waiting for prioritization. Also waiting for prioritization from ALEC, because we flew in with ALEC, which is the only airline that's flying into Israel. And so up until now, there's been nothing going out. I think there was one flight that went out on Friday night, famously took Idan Alexander back to the States. There are different options. You can go via Jordan, and or via Egypt, and that brings up a bunch of security problems. Same with Cyprus, and Cyprus has the additional problem of my wife is terribly seasick. She just looks at a boat, and so spending a day, 20 hours at sea is not something she wants to do.
Okay, yeah.
We're trying to fly out of here.
So you have no idea yet how much longer you're going to be there when you'll get out?
Unfortunately not, no.
Okay.
I mean, hopefully it's just another couple of days, but I just don't know.
Well, on the upside, you get to spend a little extra time with family in Israel. So unfortunately, not under great circumstances. So let's talk about what happened. You were there. I know we've got some pictures that I'd love for you to talk a little bit about. I don't think any of us really have a good understanding of what it's like to be there, what daily life is like when you're living in kind of this war zone. And then also, like, what does it look like when you go to a bomb shelter? How many people are there? So let's just kind of talk through some of those things that, I mean, very naive questions, but it's just things we just don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Let's start with the bomb shelters, because everybody asks about the bomb shelters. So, people here, they've been through this before, and it's really quite choreographed in a way. It's what happens is you download an app called Homefront Command, and as soon as there is reason for them to believe that there is a missile in the air, before they've identified where it's going to hit, they'll send an alarm saying something may be coming your way in a moment, get ready. So if you're in the shower, get out the shower, all those kinds of things, right? And then if there's potential for it to hit your area, the siren will go off, and there's a siren that will go off on your phone, and there's sirens outside as well. And then you've got approximately, depending where you are in the country, you have anywhere from less than a minute or a minute to a minute and a half or two to get into your shelter. Most of the buildings, in fact, all of the buildings, not all, but almost all of the buildings have what they call a mamad, which is a safe room. Some of them have a real bomb shelter. The mamad itself is a reinforced concrete, armored. So I've got some pictures of that I sent you guys. That is a mamad.
How many people will show up there?
So this is just part of a 4-bedroom apartment. One of the bedrooms. This one is a mamad. So people will just that family will just go into there and hang out in there. There was another one, a little video that I sent you. Maybe 15, 20 people in there. And that was more of a real bomb shelter. This is at my in-laws' house. This is my family, and we're hanging out during a missile attack.
And how long will you be in there?
So it could be anywhere from like 8 to 10 minutes to an hour and a half, sometimes, depending if there are multiple attacks.
Okay, and you have a lot of resources in there, food, water, those kinds of things you store in there, I assume?
Yeah, so we would put food and water in there, and air conditioning, which is really important, and Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi.
Yeah. That makes sense, though, right? That way you kind of you know what's going on. Otherwise, you're kind of left in the dark, so to speak.
Yeah, also talking of the dark, the worst part of it, though, is that this is typically like at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m. They keep doing this, to try to. It's a psychological game, I guess. So, it interrupts your sleep cycle. That's the hard part.
Yeah. So you've been there 3 to 4 weeks. How many times have you had to, approximately, get up and go into a shelter?
So ever since, before this thing started with Iran, there were the missiles coming from the Houthis. So there were 3 occasions of that in the week or so beforehand. And then since then, probably every single day, and maybe 3 or 4 times a day, sometimes once a day, depends.
Wow.
Yeah. So
was it hard for you? Go ahead.
Was it hard for me?
Like when you came, so coming from Bentonville, Arkansas, over there and getting kind of, I assume you get in some sort of a rhythm that it becomes just kind of a second nature that this is what we do. But coming from Bentonville, we don't have alarms going off that we have tornadoes, but that's about as close as we get. So was it kind of like a shock to your system when you first went in there and said, okay, this is what we do? Or is this something that you're just kind of more used to because you've done it before?
Well, so I lived here many years ago, and I also was in the military. So I've been through some of these drills before.
Got it.
So personally, that it was hard. Sure, it's hard because I think for me the hardest thing is just the sleep interruption, and it leaves everybody feeling exhausted the next day. But yeah, it's not natural. It's not normal. It's like, normal is Bentonville. This is not normal. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So you also sent over some pictures of what a missile looks like, right? So tell me a little bit. I'm sure we'll get them up on the screen here, and then kind of talk to me about, is this what you see coming over when the alarms go off? Are these the types of things that you see landing in your town or in your village or tell me about it.
Well, hopefully you don't see them. So this here is, my son lives on a kibbutz with his family, and this is the boneyard that they're starting to assemble. That big guy over there landed about 8 days ago. It's part of an Iranian missile. That missile was intercepted, and so this is a big fragment that landed in a field nearby, and it's huge. That thing has got to be 8-9 feet long, and as you can see, it's really wide. You could probably put 2 or 3 people in it. This guy lying next to it, on the left of it, is a rocket that came from Lebanon. Back in October, and there are a bunch of others rockets and all sorts of other things that are in this barnyard. But it's huge because that guy, at full size is probably 24 to 30 feet long.
That's amazing.
And you can still see the engine inside there. If it's actually a very simple device in many ways. It's it's the fuels that are really complicated, but the engine is relatively simple, and it's big. That's what I can say. It's really big.
Yeah, it looks tremendous, and just the damage that could do had it gotten through intact would be just so devastating. But the Iron Dome seems to have been just to be very, very successful. Y'all seem to be able to prevent most of the attacks from making it to do damage.
Yeah, unfortunately not all, but it's been amazing. I mean, it's a marvel. It really is.
It is a marvel and a miracle. I mean, believers, we believe God's hand is in that for sure. So tell me,
question.
So President Trump and the U.S. military just executed some bombings, and how did that go over in Israel? Was it like it's about time? Was it like woohoo? Kind of maybe all of the above. What does that look like?
Well, so Israelis are very opinionated, and there are all sorts of opinions. Most of the people that I've spoken to, and I'm not representing this, but you know what I do, right? And so I can't represent something as saying it's statistically true.
That's right. You've not done the survey yet.
Yeah, right. This is just Jonathan's view of the world, right?
Yeah.
And most of the people that we talk to are being like, it's about time. It's great. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
This is why we supported Trump. They'll say, even though they're Israelis, they didn't vote in the election,
right?
But they still feel like he's their president in a way, there's obviously concern about what the blowback's going to be, and there's a realization that there's a lot more work for the Israelis to be doing to bring this to a conclusion. But this is like a big weight off people's heads right now.
Yeah.
It was just like a terrible thing hanging over.
Like Damocles' sword, right? It's
Yeah. So it's a huge burden that's been lifted from them, but there's also knowing there's still a lot of pain to be endured.
Yes, it is not the end, right? This was just another step in making sure that things move forward. And we do, as you know, Jonathan, we have friends who are fighting on different fronts there in Israel, and it is not quiet. This was not the end of anything, as you said. This definitely just took a significant threat off the table, and I think it was really important. I mean, I agree with you. Maybe it was about time. You hate to see it happen, but it was kind of crazy. Tell me a little bit about life in general. Are we seeing people that are out there? Like, are the shops open? Are people going and buying things? I mean, what does that look like? Is the supply chain broken that things aren't on the shelves? Like, what does that kind of look like?
The supply chain doesn't look broken to me.
Okay.
100%. I mean, it's. Let me put it this way: when this thing happened, it was on a Thursday night. On the Friday morning, we went into to get food. We wanted to get a bunch of prepared food for Sabbath, and so we went into the local supermarket, which is a huge place, and people were buying prepared food. So we got there. My wife got a ticket, and she got, I think it was like number 817. They were at number 640. We saw how slow it was going, so we just went and we bought food, and we were going, okay, we're going to have to cook, right? We left probably 2 hours later, and they were at number 803 or 804. So we weren't even there. But is the supply chain broken? Not that I'm seeing, right? So whenever I go into the supermarket, getting most things that I want, I'm not. But then again, look, I'm here as a tourist. The kind of things that I'm buying are kind of it's relatively limited basket of things. So there's milk, there's eggs.
But you're not seeing empty shelves. You're not seeing
No, I'm not seeing empty shelves. I'm seeing plenty of all the things we need, like soda. It's all there, and
Yeah.
not experiencing that. But there are certain things that have taken a hit. So a lot of services are closed. So schools, for example, are doing things remotely, or they're out of session, or
Okay.
they have a matriculation exam that they do at 12th grade that's been delayed until September. There's talk about maybe them, canceling them altogether. And this morning, my father-in-law took a new apartment, and he wanted me to be here to receive the guy coming to install the internet. And of course, they called 5 minutes before they were supposed to be here to say, no, nobody's coming because of the war. So there are things that are definitely being impacted.
They're being impacted. Interesting.
Yeah.
And so you feel like there is some disruption to normal life, even though having bombs come and having these raid sirens go off is pretty much normal life, but that this is definitely elevated beyond what you're normally seeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That is great. Yeah.
That's it. There's still a lot of things going on.
Okay. That is so fascinating to me. It's just fascinating that Israel seems to keep going, even with all the things that are going on around, that there seems to be so much normal life. And like you said, you just celebrated a beautiful wedding of your daughter, which is amazing. So fantastic. Well, Jonathan, is there anything else you want to mention or anything else you want to talk before I let you go?
No, it's great talking to you. And
so good to talk to you. I just pray for blessings and safety for you and your family, and that you make it home safely. Reach out. You know how to get a hold of me. If there's anything else that we can do on this end, we're obviously happy to help you. And I can't wait to see you. But thank you for taking time out to do this for me.
Well, thank you, Mindy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a great day, Jonathan. Talk to you soon.
You too. Bye now.
Bye-bye. So I'd like to welcome to the program Esther Lazarowitz. She is a young woman who is spending a gap year over in Israel. And she was supposed to come home a week or two ago, and because of the war has gotten stuck there. And I'd love to just hear a little bit about her story, what she's doing, what she's learned, and what she is going to take back when she gets back to New York. So Esther, please join us in the program.
Hi.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me today. I am excited to hear what you have to say. So let's talk about, you come from New York. Tell me how you got to Israel and where you are in Israel.
So I came to Israel to do my gap year studying here. And I'm right now in Jerusalem in a seminary called Nishma. It's really wonderful. It's pretty great.
Okay, and are you studying? So in your gap year, are you doing a study program, or are you working?
It's like Bible study.
Okay, like Bible study for a year.
Yeah, for a year.
Okay, great. And then when you get done and we get you out of Jerusalem, you're going to go back to New York and you will start your college career.
Yes.
Okay,
Cooper
and
Union.
I'm sorry?
In Cooper Union.
In Cooper Union, and you are going to be studying chemical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be great. That will be so amazing to see what you do there. And so let's talk a little bit about the time that you have in Jerusalem. So you've been there for almost, I guess, over a full year now. Is that right?
About, yeah.
So you need to get home so you can start college, right? Get all prepared. Yeah. Okay. So you were supposed to go home when? When were you supposed to fly back out?
I was supposed to fly out last Monday.
Okay.
So like exactly a week ago.
Okay. And that got canceled? All the flights got canceled, or?
All the flights got canceled. Like there's no way out, basically.
There's no way out. And what are you hearing? Are you working with the embassy? Because you're not an Israeli citizen. Are you dual citizenship?
No, I'm just an American citizen.
Not just. You are an American citizen.
American citizen.
So go America. All right.
So there is an organization that takes care of all the seminaries. It's called MASA. Okay. So they're working on getting flights, like the flights that are bringing Israelis from Europe back to Israel. Okay. They don't want to go back to Europe like empty. So they offer to take some like seminary and yeshiva kids home.
Oh.
So we were supposed to get on a flight tomorrow, and then that got canceled. So we're trying for Wednesday now. We're going to see if that gets canceled.
Okay, so you're just kind of in a waiting pattern.
Yeah, basically.
Are you like all packed up and ready to go? Just like.
Yep.
Okay.
And like every 2 days you have to open the suitcase again and take out more clothes.
So what's
and
it
then
been?
close it.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
imagine. It's just a lot of, yeah, I can't imagine. So what's it been like being over there in such a tumultuous time? I mean, it's got to be different. I mean, I know New York's a tough place to live, but it's got to be nothing compared to what you've been going through. What's it like?
Oh, definitely. It's like it feels a lot like COVID actually.
Okay.
Like, it's not so easy to go out because you want to make sure that there's a safe space, like wherever you go.
Okay. And how do you
Thank
know?
God,
How do you know if there's a safe
there's like
space?
you can look it up. You can
Okay.
find it on like Google Maps and stuff like that. But like really like traveling between cities is very hard. Like basically no one's doing that. And like it's just complicated to like leave. Thank God my building has a lot of safe spaces inside of it.
Okay.
And I'm able to actually like sleep in one and be totally fine if there's a siren in the middle of the night. But like going out trying to like it's really only like you leave the house to get food, get whatever you actually need. But other than that, like really stay inside and like try to make sure you're next to a safe place.
So do you find that people on the street, are you like, well, I come from the South. So when we walk down the street, we actually stop and have conversations with strangers, right? That's kind of what we do. I know you don't do that in New York, but down in my world, we do. Do you find that people are like talking on the street if they're passing, or does everyone have like, I'm on a mission to get where I need to go and get back home?
I mean, generally, no one talks in the street as much as that, probably. But usually there are people that like will
Okay.
walk around. If you're waiting by a bus stop, you'll talk. But
Okay.
there are a lot less people like waiting by bus stops
Okay.
to talk. So really, like, not
Yeah.
a lot of that.
And are you noticing that difference in just the year that you've been there? You're noticing it's noticeably different
Yeah.
now than it was. Okay.
And then it was like even a few weeks ago,
Oh, wow.
just like
Okay.
completely different worlds.
Yeah, that is fascinating. And so you're able to go out a little bit. Do you get nervous at all? I mean, you're away from, I mean, you're young. I mean, not that you're not super smart, and obviously because you're going into engineering and you're obviously very mature to travel on your own, but I would think I would get nervous at least the first few times that these sirens would go off, and I might just want to bunk, in the safe space. Like that might be my new home. What's it like for you?
I mean, the sirens have been going off all year, more
Okay.
so now, but like really the whole year at this point. Like, unfortunately, we've all gotten used to it. You just like have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a little bit more serious. So in the beginning, it was a little bit more like you need to get to the safe space much
Okay.
quicker and like make sure you have stuff in there to be able to stay there for a while.
A
Because
while.
usually it's just like you go in, 10 minutes later, you can go out. Now it's like, now they release an announcement that says, no, you need to wait until there's a notification that you can come out after the siren. So it's a lot
Okay.
more serious.
Okay.
It is a little bit like, thank God I'm in Jerusalem, so I am in relatively a safer place than most people, but it is still a little bit like nerve-wracking.
Oh, I would imagine. So tell me, what does that mean? You're in a safer place in Jerusalem? Why is that? I would think maybe like the more rural areas would be safer, but you help me understand. I just don't know.
I mean, like if you're in really, really the middle of nowhere, then yeah, that's probably safer than Jerusalem. But also, like, I think it's just like a thing. Like Jerusalem, like they don't
You
let
just
it
feel like it's
get
more
hit by
protected.
anything.
Okay.
There's also not like a lot of things around Jerusalem besides like people. So
Okay.
it's not so much of a target
Oh,
as
that
much.
makes
I mean, there
sense.
is like the Knesset and everything.
Right.
So
But not the military installations that people might be
yeah.
targeting. That makes total sense. Okay, well, I don't want to keep you too long, but so tell me, let's assume you get out soon, maybe Wednesday, which would be great. You're
Please.
going to fly to Europe, and then I assume you'll get a flight from Europe back to New York. What are you looking forward to in the next year? What do you think? What kind of lessons or what kind of just like things do you think are going to stay with you as you go back to school, or as you go to school, and then kind of through your life? What do you have any thoughts about how this has impacted you differently than you thought it might?
I mean, I really like when I came in for my year here, I really felt like it was just going to be like a year. Like it was just going to be like a little pause on like school and just, taking a year to study things that I want to study really like for myself and for my own development. It ended up really impacting me, like throwing a lot of things into perspective, a lot of things about like what's important, what like I need, like when I go into the safe room, what am I taking with me? That kind of thing. And it really has like changed a lot of how I think about what's important to me.
Yeah, I would imagine it's been a year of incredible maturation for you, just in terms of what you thought you'd get out of it versus what's really been happening. Do you want to go back to Israel? Would you ever want to move to Israel?
I mean, I would love to move to Israel if my family moved with me.
Yeah. I can see that. And by the way, I've not met your mama, but your daddy is amazing, amazing bundle of energy for sure. Well, before I let you go, is there anything else that you want people to know what's going on in Israel, or anything that you want them to know in general?
I mean, it's really like it's a really difficult time, and it's a really like crazy situation.
Yeah.
Like, thank God everyone's doing well. It's really like miracles are happening every day. It's crazy how like well everyone's held up through all of this, but it is still a really crazy time. And like,
Continue the prayers for the people of Israel.
please.
Absolutely. Well, Esther, I really, truly appreciate you jumping on just so we could hear about it. I look forward to meeting you when you come back to the States. Hopefully we'll get to meet in person. And I wish you the best of luck at Cooper Union and with your engineering studies.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our interview with Esther Lazarowitz. She is an amazing young woman who has gone over to Israel for a gap year to do a year of religious studies there, and is now trying to get back home so she can begin her college career. And our thoughts and prayers are with her. And I look forward to seeing you next week in the arena.